Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing on this Friday? Yay! I know everybody should be really excited about the weekend coming up. I really don't know what's going on in town this weekend here in Vegas, but I one thing I do know, it's going to be a beautiful weekend until Monday. We're supposed to be getting another storm system in on Monday. I know I'm such a weather buff. Well, I'm a huge nature lover. So, and of course, weather is part of nature. So, yeah, I absolutely love following the weather, all the storm systems, and so forth, and so forth. But yeah, as far as things that are happening in town, I have no idea. But I'm sure it's going to be a busy weekend. It's that time of year. Spring and fall are really our peak seasons for tourism and conventions and so forth, because the weather is usually beautiful. This year, yeah, okay, I know. So anyway, this week, yeah, we've been talking about tarot, doing a lot of background information and so forth. And the reason why I decided to do this is I know there's a lot of confusion that there's out there when it comes to tarot. A lot of differences of opinions, practices and so forth. And I just want to be able to divulge that information, at least all the information I've gathered over the years. Kind of condense things into a single package, I guess you could say. So, anywho, yesterday we talked about preparing your room and your decks for readings, and now you've done that and you've done the reading and everything is all wonderful. You got some wonderful messages and everything. Now what do you do with your decks? Okay. Do you keep them in the original boxes? Do you store them in a special place? What have you? So, and of course, it depends on you. What calls to you on how you should store your decks, okay? Some people will keep them in their original boxes, like this one right here. This is the Green Witch Tarot from what's her name? Anne Mora, and the artwork was done by Kira Estergaard Leonard. Wonderful deck. I absolutely love this one as well. I just basically I keep this one and most of the rest of my tarot and oracle decks in their original boxes, which is perfectly fine. Some people are a little weary about doing that because there is a lot of different sorts of energies that float around and so forth. And some people have concerns that the decks could wind up being tainted if they're kept in their original boxes or out in the open, on like a special rack or something like that. So what some people will do, they'll either keep them in like a velvet pouch or they may keep it in a cedar box. I have this one here. This is actually, I know I've got a bunch of stuff in here. This is one, can't really see it very well either way with tipping it. But yeah, this is one I had purchased 17 years ago. It has a lot of special meaning for me. And over the years, I had kept a lot of special mementos in it. Things like feathers from my previous babies that I had. I used to have pet ducks, so yeah, I like keeping some of their feathers in here. Also keeping possum's whiskers in here. No, I don't shave off her whiskers. They lose their whiskers. That would be awful. No, but she loses her whiskers. If I find them, I'll keep them in here. And also, I have feathers in here from a baby bird that I had helped finish raising. Do not do that unless you've been specially trained, which I have. I used to be wildlife rehabilitator. So as she started losing her baby feathers, I started keeping them in here and collecting them and keeping them in here and so forth. So I have some other special mementos that I keep in here as well. I keep my original, my very first deck in here because, of course, it has a lot of special meaning for me. Some people, they might keep it with keeping either in a velvet pouch or a special place or a cedar box or something like that. They might put little special mementos in here. They might put elements in here or special items in here from the 4 elements. Like for instance, with the feathers, that is representative of air. Excuse me. Seashells, representative of water. I have a special leaf in here, kind of attached to one of my former baby's feathers. That can be for earth element. special stone for me is an earth element. Also for fire, I do have a piece of sandstone. I keep it close by. This is actually from the Valley of Fire State Park. So fire, element of fire, Valley of Fire, if you follow my drift there. Also, some people may want to keep talismans. So I don't actually keep any talismans in there. These are ones that I wear, but like for instance, this one here is a pentagram encased by the triple moon goddess. I use this as a protection amulet. You might want to keep a tree of life in there, or some people may keep in their special protective crystals, like clear quartz is a really good one. It's a very good cleansing quartz. Black tourmaline is a really good protection crystal. Also, I showed you this one yesterday. Rose quartz for love. Also, amethyst for calming and also cleansing energy. So, or even black onyx. Some people might do aventurine or something. There's a lot of different ones that people may want to keep in there as part for protection, and also to help ensure that their decks are keeping cleansed of any sort of energies that they don't want to have attached to their decks. Okay, so a few things I wanted to also clarify with kind of looking at my videos this week. One thing that I had mentioned yesterday, as far as like with using essential oils in your candles, yeah, I had mentioned to make sure that keep it off the wick, and also keep an eye on it, especially when it's first starting to be lit, and because sometimes the essential oils can wind up going poof. It's okay, it'll burn down. I wanted to make sure I clarified that you don't have to rush it to the sink and put it out unless you want to, unless you feel you need to. But it will calm down, and you'll just have the flame, but then you'll have the scent also from the essential oils. And you can use those with lighting your Palo Santos or your white sage for your cleansing and so forth, and helps keep the air cleansed, bringing in the sort of energies that you really want for your readings, or to help you with your meditative states and so on and so forth. Okay, so that was one thing I wanted to clarify. Also, when you're doing some of your readings, sometimes when you're using a deck, say for instance you might be using a traditional Rider-Waite deck, or you might be using an alternative deck, there are times where you'll pull the card. Let's say I'll use this one as an example because I had actually used this here recently. This is the Seven of Cups from the Ostara Tarot deck. And sometimes when you're doing a reading, you might get a message in that isn't related to the deck that you're using. Okay, could be a message from another deck, or sometimes, like what happened with me here recently when I was doing a reading, I had pulled this card and no messages were coming across, from like from the guidebooks or whatever. It was strictly the imagery, especially with the cards that are surrounding this card. So that's something to keep in mind also when you're doing your readings. Don't necessarily rely on the guidebooks and texts and meanings that you find out there and so forth. Take a look at the imagery of the card. What do you see? Is there something with that imagery that just grabs you? And that's exactly what happened with me with this card. It just grabbed me. So that and it has absolutely nothing to do with the Seven of Cups. Sometimes you can rely on the number of the card. Maybe it might just be a color with the card, like with this orange color representing creativity and your sacral chakra. So it's a lot. There could be a lot of different things that can wind up happening with your readings. So Sunday, I'm going to talk about oracle cards, and then we're going to start jumping into different spreads, okay? I love you all. I'll see you then. Have a great weekend.